Alright, I have a wild story that you guys are going to love because it serves as a perfect microcosm of the Maga universe in the way that Trump treats his most loyal supporters. So to lay the groundwork, Trump held a rally in Coachella, California a few days back. I don't know why he's in Cali with less than 30 days until the election, but at this rally, he had to bus his supporters from the parking lot over to the arena. Now this is normal at larger sporting events, larger political events. I've had this happen at Maga rallies before. Sometimes you get bussed from the parking lot area over to the arena. And after this happened, Donald Trump refused to bus his supporters back to the parking lot. So they were sometimes forced to walk 2 to 3 hours in the heat. Some of his biggest supporters, some of his oldest supporters were forced to walk in the heat back to the parking lot. And we have videos of them complaining. We have videos of some of them collapsing. This article reads, absolute chaos as MAGA faithful were stranded in desert after California event. And I like how it says MAGA faithful. They definitely put all of their faith in him. It goes to show how even his most loyal, faithful supporters are not safe from his schemes. It reminds me of this tweet that reads, I never thought leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. I mean, if you're gonna vote for the scamming, conniving narcissist, then don't cry when you get scammed by the billionaire narcissist. But we have a lot to break down because this story gets funnier and funnier. It's also kind of concerning at parts. Let's lay the groundwork with this clip of Trump in Arizona a few days back, and this one combines his narcissism and his slurring perfectly, because as he's trying to say that he's a genius like Einstein, he slurs his way through. Just
I
watch.
think they say, you know who the smartest person they say in history was? Albert Einstein. He said Trump. I agree with him. He said Trump. All right.
Some red hat in the crowd thinks Trump is smarter than Albert Einstein. I am not surprised. This Trump supporter is lucky that he wasn't at Trump's rally the day before because he would have had to walk hours back because Trump isn't smart enough to get shuttles for his fans. I want to show you this clip of Donald Trump talking about America being an occupied country, which is a dangerous lie.
So we're now known all throughout the world as an occupied country. Can you believe it? They said
We're not.
One of the papers said on another country that we are an occupied country, and you know what? They're not that wrong. But these gentlemen will unoccupy us very quickly.
Of course, he's pointing to the police force as people in the back hold up signs that say secure our border. It reminds me of the RNC where they had signs saying deport them now. I mean, this Hitlerian rhetoric seeping into the mainstream of our politics is insane to me. And that is not a word I use lightly. I never ever injected the word Hitlerian or fascistic into my commentary until the past few months when Donald Trump has tripled down on this deport 15 million immigrants now, deport them all even if it necessitates violence or blood in the streets. Once Trump started using the rhetoric about bloodiness just a few months back, that is when I started to use this Hitlerian word, even though I saw it before. And this one is extra rich because Trump is saying, I don't want your money. I don't want your money. Just watch.
Arizona must get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. That's all I don't want your money. Don't give me your money. We don't need money. We need votes. Got to get out and vote.
First of all, this dude can barely speak, but every time he's saying that he doesn't need money, he still goes home and promotes his new crypto. He promotes his new NFTs, his sneakers, his Bibles, his watches, his coins. I mean, I'm probably missing a few things because he has a stock. Even when he's speaking on here, on the right, they're promoting Angel Paste Miracle Cream. Usually they're promoting those Trump books for children. Have you guys seen those? I talk about them in my video all the time. Over here on the right, it always says ivermectin or get your Trump book for kids. It's just some weird stuff. He's always hawking something. And I want to put this into contrast with a clip of VP Harris eviscerating Trump for not participating in the debate, not participating in 60 Minutes. And then after this, I want to show you the way that Trump's fans were completely screwed over, and it'll show the perfect contrast between the two candidates.
And he's not, but here's the thing, North Carolina, and he's not being transparent with the voters. He's not being transparent. So check this out. He refuses to release his medical records. I've done it. Every other presidential candidate in modern era has done it.
Ever, yeah.
He is unwilling to do a 60 Minutes interview. Like every other other major party candidate has done for more than half a century.
Yep.
He is unwilling to meet for a second debate. And here's the thing. It makes you wonder. Why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America?
That is some really good stuff. Inject that straight into my veins. Inject that straight into the homes of millions of Americans. I mean, this is exactly what we need. This got over 1 million views in less than 12 hours. It is blowing up 55,000 likes. And you know that Kamala Harris is about to cook when she makes this face right here. When she makes the finger at chin face, you know she's about to roast Donald Trump, right? Now I want to bring you back to this story, this titled Absolute Chaos as MAGA faithful were stranded in desert after California event. And I have more clips to play from this event and from other events, but this story is, like I said, a perfect microcosm of Donald Trump's disdain for the people that support him. Donald Trump left his own followers, including elderly supporters, stranded in the desert after a rally in Southern California, according to reports. Trump spoke in Coachella on Saturday, where his rally was disrupted by a woman who was heckling him. There was outrage among the former president's critics after, according to them, he appeared to endorse violence against the woman. He used that line where he says, "She's gonna go home to mommy and get slapped," or whatever he says. After the rally ended, Trump left the rally goers stranded after only providing buses one way, according to the Tennessee Holler. And you know, it's funny because I sent this article to my cameraman for a quick personal anecdote. I was at a Trump rally about a week ago. Last Saturday and last Sunday, we went to a Trump rally on both days. And in one of those rallies, the parking situation was maybe the biggest mess I've ever seen in my life. And it wasn't the fault of Trump personally. It was the fault of the Trump campaign who set up this terrible, terrible parking infrastructure. It took us probably 90 minutes to even get in and get parked on this runway at a small airport, so I'm not surprised that only a few days later the parking situation got worse. But this time it sounds like it was slightly more Trump's fault. It sounds like he kind of yanked the buses that were supposed to be there. Quote, MAGA faithful were stranded after Trump's Coachella rally last night, including many elderly folks, this outlet reported on Sunday. Bust in, but not bust out. And that is like the worst thing you can do, is provide somebody travel one way, but then not provide them travel out of this messy area. And let me tell you, the area definitely got messy. The Tennessee Holler included a video from a purported Trump rally goer who says, absolute chaos. Quote, this isn't normal. Apparently the buses are no longer coming, the attendee says in the video. It's just chaos, absolute chaos. All of us are stranded here. Everyone is stranded. The individual adds that something went wrong. And I want to play you this video of the Trump supporters. Doesn't this tweet perfectly summarize it? I never thought the leopards would eat my face, sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating face party. Okay, let's watch this.
The buses are no longer coming, or at least there used to be like 20 buses when we were being brought here, but now there's only like 3 buses operating, and it's an absolute, it's just chaos, absolute chaos. All of us are stranded here. Everyone's stranded here.
This is a mess. Honestly, I do feel bad for the journalists that are there, because when I sent this video to my cameraman, he said we would have missed our flight. It would have uprooted our whole weekend if we got caught in this. But I don't feel bad for the people who voted for the leopard eater or face eater.
Something went wrong.
Yeah, you guys went to a Trump rally. That's what went wrong.
Look at this.
There's chicks that are organizing this that are failing.
I heard someone say there's chicks that are organizing this that are failing something. This tweet in the top left is cracking me up because Wesley Johnson, a Trump supporter, tweeted out, just wait for the kicker. He tweeted out, it's 10:22 p.m. Rally ended at 7 p.m. Thousands of people still stranded here waiting for transit back to the parking lot. This is a Trump supporter tweeting this out. 3.5 hours they waited at the time this tweet was sent. Something has gone horribly wrong. Yeah, you guys went to a Trump rally. Someone needs to ask the Coachella mayor if he had anything to do with this. Come on. They're blaming it on the Democratic mayor rather than the guy who held the rally, rather than the campaign who put this together. Parking lot is a 2-hour walk. Countless elderly stranded here and can't walk anymore. No restroom facilities accessible anymore. No more water, no food. Started with 20 buses for escorting people to the rally, and now only one bus remains at this point. Buses apparently went home. Not confirmed, but no more buses have showed up in the last hour and a half. This is not normal and feels nefarious and criminal. And then he tags Trump, Charlie Kirk, Brick Suit. He tags that Brick Suit Trump supporter, Dan Bongino, Matt Gaetz, Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, and Tucker Carlson. This dude thinks that Tucker Carlson and Tim Pool are going to swoop in and save the day for him? Jesus. Let's watch the rest.
Look at all of us.
If you could just, yeah, we're going to walk
Excuse
with
me.
you.
I don't feel bad watching them in MAGA caps standing there shredded. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have been tricked by the con man for years.
There's supposed to be like 20 buses here, and there's only one. Everyone's starting to freak out.
It's just funny to me because the Trump supporters got a tiny taste of what Trump has been doing to contractors for years, people who work on his buildings.
And there's people that go down this street for I don't know how long. Somebody.
That sounds like hell, being trapped with a bunch of MAGA supporters for a while, and here is Donald Trump talking about how he's ranting and raving. In a weird moment of lucidity, he acknowledges that he rants and raves on stage.
Mostly one mispronunciation of a word. He's cognitively impaired. He's getting old. He's getting old. He mispronounced a word like the name of the gang, if I did. No, I think I got it perfectly, didn't I? But if they see any, they watch for weeks and weeks. For weeks and weeks, I'm up here ranting and raving. Last night, 100,000 people, flawless, ranting and raving.
It's not flawless, and it's more than simple mispronunciations. If Donald Trump just mispronounced the name of a gang here and there, it would be a different story. It's the way that Donald Trump speaks lately is so incoherent, and he even acknowledges it. He says that he weaves different topics together, which is a clever way, not really clever, it's a way of excusing the fact that he tries to pull 5 different topics into one sentence. And again, it's more than simple mispronunciations. This interview that Trump did with Newsmax just yesterday is a perfect example, because listen to his voice. Listen very closely to the way he's speaking. Something is wrong with his voice. I'm not even joking.
What's your reaction to their trying to cover that up?
Biden's incompetent. And the only advantage is that I believe he hates her more than he hates me, and he hates me a lot, all right? But Biden's a grossly incompetent person. I believe she's worse.
He either needs a glass of water or he's been smoking cigarettes a lot lately. That's what it sounds like.
And it took him a couple of days to think of that one.
Okay, it's just painful to listen to that, but you guys get my point. Back to this. Here's Donald Trump claiming that he's going to give people back their freedom.
We will reclaim our nation, and I will give you back your freedom and your life. We're going to give you back your freedom. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope.
Every family will thrive. You just better hope that you don't have a daughter who needs an abortion or needs health care at some point. You better hope that you don't need a John Deere tractor after he tariffs them 200%. Oh, and you better damn well not expect your vote to get counted under a second Trump administration, because he tried to disenfranchise your vote the first time unless you voted for him. Here's Donald Trump talking about Joe Arpaio, who's a terrible racist human being. And I'm not just saying that. There were human rights reports coming out saying that he was targeting immigrants, locking them up. Yeah.
And I spotted him. You had no problems when he was in charge. You know who that is? Sheriff Joe. Sheriff Joe!
You had no problems if you were a white landowning male, maybe.
Oh, stand up. Oh. Brandon, sign him up immediately. Paul, you got to sign him up immediately.
Joe Arpaio is a terrible person, along with Donald Trump, and I want to end off with this article. This is important. It reads, "Totally illegal. Trump escalates rhetoric on outlawing political dissent and criticism." And this is a rare moment from NBC News where they call out Trump's fascistic rhetoric for what it is. Quote, "This is out of the autocratic playbook. As autocrats consolidate their power once they're in office, anything that threatens their power becomes illegal," says this historian. And yeah, no shit, Donald Trump's entire play this entire time has been to not only undermine the institutions around him, whether it's the FBI or the DOJ or the World Health Organization. Every turn he tries to undermine these institutions, but also attack the media. And now he's blatantly saying, let's strip away their licensing. Quote, "Donald Trump is ramping up his rhetoric, depicting his political rivals and critics as criminals while dropping a long trail of suggestions that he favors outlawing political speech that he deems misleading or challenges claims to his power." In his speech on Friday in Aurora, Colorado, the Republican presidential nominee blasted the immigration system, what's new, and lobbed a rhetorical grenade at his Democratic rival, VP Kamala Harris. Quote, "She's a criminal. She's a criminal," said Trump, who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in his New York hush money trial. Quote, "She really is, if you think about it. You know, I've thought about it a lot and I still don't see it." And the worst part is, Republicans claim that VP Kamala Harris uses inflammatory rhetoric when she says that one sentence, "I know people like Donald Trump. I have prosecuted people like Donald Trump." Apparently that is so inflammatory it's going to cause a civil war, but Trump is free to call her a socialist, Marxist, communist, fascist. Yeah. It's a pattern of messaging that has long been part of Trump's stump speeches, but has escalated significantly in his 2024 candidacy. In the final stretch to the November 5th election, the former president has developed a tendency to claim that the speech he disapproves of is illegal, even if it is protected by the First Amendment. For example, a questionable cut of the 60 Minutes Harris interview, quote, "Totally illegal," Trump wrote on X, saying it makes Harris look better. But when has 60 Minutes ever released a full, unedited, uncut interview? That's not how it works. They don't do that. Trump then calls the Harris campaign's headlines in Google Ads totally illegal, but he'll never ever bring up Elon Musk using all of the might, all of the power that he has to try to sway the election in Trump's favor. In August, Trump told a crowd in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, that criticisms of judges who have ruled in alignment with him should be banned, that you can't criticize any judges who agree with him. Quote, "I believe it's illegal what they do," Trump said. "I believe they are playing the ref. They're constantly criticizing our some of our greatest justices and a lot of judges. Playing the ref with our judges and justices should be punishable by very serious fines, and beyond that, I can't do it. I cannot do the gaslighting anymore." Donald Trump is the one who brought all of these court cases after the 2020 election, and his supporters even threatened the judges who refused to agree that there was election fraud, which, by the way, were all of the judges. No judges said there was election fraud. And now Trump is trying to flip this back at us. We cannot allow this gaslighting. And honestly, that is why independent channels like this one exist. It is an easy way to spread the word and to get this fascistic rhetoric out there, but then debunk it in a concise way, which I hope is what I do on this channel. An expert who studies authoritarianism and fascism said Trump's rhetoric about criminalizing dissent is familiar and could carry serious implications for the country if he's elected president. Quote, "This is out of the autocratic playbook. As autocrats consolidate their power once they're in office, anything that threatens their power or exposes their corruption or releases information that's harmful to them in any way becomes illegal." He's actually rehearsing, in a sense, what he would be doing as head of state, which is what Viktor Orban does, which is what Modi is doing, which is what Putin has long done, she said, referring to the leaders of Hungary, India, and Russia, respectively. Quote, "Just as there's a divide now because of this brainwashing about who is a patriot and who is a criminal about January 6th, in the same way, telling the truth in any area, whether you're a journalist, a scientist, or people like me, the person who wrote the article, anybody who's engaged in objective inquiry, even prosecutors, they become criminal elements and they need to be shut down." That is a very, very good point right there. And I just want to end this video off by saying Donald Trump is trying to copy the Viktor Orban model of Hungary perfectly. What Viktor Orban did was his own version of Project 2025, where he shut down dissent in the media, but the big piece is he stuffed institutions with loyal supporters. So Donald Trump, during his first term, passed a Schedule F executive order that says he could hire and fire thousands, tens of thousands of civil servants, not based on their skill or their merit, but based on their loyalty to him. So imagine the scenario where Trump gets back in office. He puts tens of thousands thousands of loyalists in the government, and then he is free to keep eroding all of these norms that he loved eroding during his first term, but there are no checks and balances beneath him. There's nobody in the FBI or the DOJ to keep him in check because his Bill Barr, who kind of kept him in check the first time, is now somebody like Rudy Giuliani or somebody like Sidney Powell. It's a terrifying thought. But if you appreciate this video, if you appreciate what I do, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, make sure you comment some blue hearts. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.